Hey,
Hello.
Christy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, everybody. I want you to meet Christy Thomas. If you don't know her, she is a registered dietitian, and I've known her forever. So I'm happy to have her here to talk to us today a little bit about what we can do to boost our immune system. But, Christy, do you want to start off and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for a living?
Yes, my name's Christy Thomas. I'm actually married to Jennifer's cousin, Derek Thomas. So we go way back and have some deep connection there. I live in Lake Butler. I love living in Lake Butler. I have a 6-year-old daughter who is in kindergarten and is being homeschooled right now, which is going well. But I was happy to have a break today so we could do this and talk a little bit about nutrition in the middle of this pandemic. I am a registered dietitian. I've been a registered dietitian for about 20 years. I've done a lot of different things. I've worked in research. I've worked in acute care and long-term care. Right now I work at Lake City Medical Center, and then I work at Lake Butler Hospital part-time, both those places, and pretty much work part-time and then am a mom the rest of the time. But I have been like thinking and researching and really trying to think about what all we can do to help our bodies and help our health in the middle of this pandemic, because there are so many things that are out of our control.
Yes.
But there are some things we can control. And I believe that, I'm not saying it's going to keep you from getting it, but I'm saying it would be something you can control that would give you the greatest chance of a better outcome, let's say, if you were to be exposed. So a few things that I want to mention are, trying, and this is really hard because a lot of people are, we're quarantined. It's almost like quasi hurricane mode.
Yes.
It's stressful. You're like holed up in your house. First of all, do try to get outside if you can. The weather's still really nice right now, so getting outside, getting some sunshine, getting some vitamin D, getting fresh air, so great. And if you can even do a little exercise. I noticed this. I was up this morning about 7:30 and went for a little walk, and it wasn't too hot yet. So that's one thing that is really good for us. And we think the sunshine may actually help to kill the virus. So hopefully as temperatures get hotter and there's more and more UV, hopefully that's one theory, I think, because there's a lot of theories out there, and you do have to be careful about where you get your information from, because there's a lot of bad information out there. So make sure it's a really good source. But one thing is to try to limit your sugar. And again, I know being in your house, people like a lot of comfort food, and that's a lot of like processed foods. That's a lot of sugar. And sugar has a really, really negative effect on the body. Now, do we want to like completely avoid it and never have sugar? That's not really realistic, and it's definitely no fun. Yes. But if we can limit that and limit that in terms of our day-to-day eating, one big place people tend to get a lot of that is through sugar sweetened beverages. So like your sweet tea, your soft drinks, your Gatorades, a lot of those kind of things have a lot of sugar in them, as well as sometimes a lot of other chemicals that are really not good for us. So that's one easy way to cut back, is gradually start decreasing those beverages and replacing them with water. You could look at like a diet beverage, but then that's a lot of artificial sweetener, which is also a lot of chemicals. But that could be good to use in transition, let's say, from regular to maybe some diet to more water, like more in transition. But ultimately the goal being drinking, more of like, your water. If you have to put a little fruit in it, that's fine. That's a great thing to do. Sometimes that can give us some extra vitamins. That can help, like lemon and lime. Some feel like maybe help detoxify different things. But that's one big thing. To go along with that same thought is staying hydrated, because being hydrated, we feel like probably may decrease your risk of getting COVID and how well you may do with COVID, because people start not feeling well and they start not drinking. That just makes it all worse, and we don't want that. So we definitely want to stay very well hydrated. So decreasing your sugar sweetened beverages, and just really trying to replace those sugary snacks and treats, trying to really decrease that to like one a day or one every other day or once or twice a week, and trying to replace it with some healthier alternatives like, if it's fruit or a yummy yogurt or, things like that, that would be a little healthier, but still give you like some sweet taste, but maybe with more nutrition in it.
Yeah.
Another big one, there's a lot of things that sugar does. One thing it does is it does suppress your immune system. Like when you eat sugary foods, it decreases your immune system for several hours.
Really?
Sugar, yeah, refined, and I'm talking about refined sugar here. I'm talking about
like sugars that's in processed food, sugars that's in, yes, where I haven't bought a box of Pop-Tarts in probably 20 years, and I bought a box of Pop-Tarts at the store last time for some reason I wanted Pop-Tarts. So that type of sugar, yes.
Yes, that would be refined sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not talking about like fruit, which is like a natural sugar, for example. Yeah. That's still something that, I would say, we still don't want to do too much fruit, but certainly it's nutritious. It has a lot of nutritional value. We're talking more about refined sugars, like high fructose corn syrup that are in a lot of things, and just regular sugar that are in packages, boxes, bags, all those things that have a lot of chemicals in them and preservatives in them. Also not good for our immune system. And those things also can affect mental health, like sugar, because of the way it kind of affects our whole body, all the different hormones in our body, the way it affects our blood sugar. It can really, really affect mood. It can make you kind of feel foggy. It can make you feel grouchy. It can make your blood sugar kind of go up and down, which can affect how you feel. Yeah. So, and it can kind of so for some people, it makes anxiety worse. So again, there's a lot of reasons to really try to decrease that sugar. And again, then talking about the processed food, kind of the same things. And it's a staple of our American diet to have a lot of processed foods.
Yeah.
It's hard to completely avoid them, but just trying to limit them and find some healthier alternatives to those things. More fresh fruits and vegetables, making things more from scratch, especially since we all have more time now that we're at home. Yeah. Taking the time to make more things from scratch. Or if you are going to buy things that are out of a package, can you buy things that have less preservatives in there, are a little cleaner or organic? Yeah. Those kind of things. If you're going to buy those things, try to buy maybe a healthier, cleaner version of those things.
Yeah. Which of the breads is the healthier version? Something like that Ezekiel bread, or is it more something with the grains? Which ones?
Right. Well, there's kind of a lot of different sort of levels with that. Like Ezekiel bread is really good because it's really natural. It has 0 preservatives. It's also a lower gluten bread if people, are kind of gluten sensitive. It has to be stored in the freezer. Like you can't even keep it in the refrigerator. So it has to be stored in the freezer. Yeah. And then you, again, take it out and put it in the toaster. And it's very, very grainy and heavy. So you kind of have to be used to whole grain bread. Like if you were used to more of like a white bread, it'd probably be kind of hard to get it down at first, probably take some getting used to. But then that's kind of like, I would say, kind of the top tier in terms of healthy, pure breads. But that doesn't work for everybody. But there's a lot of other ones. Like there's some other, like Publix has a pretty good organic, whole grain, multi-grain type bread that's pretty good. There's another one called Dave's Killer Bread that does a lot of, like, has like an organic grains in it. That's supposed to be pretty good. Like Publix has a good brand. And then you have, a lot of brands that just have a good 100% whole wheat. So what you're looking for is that it's 100% whole wheat bread. And it will say it on the label, but the main place to look would be under the ingredients. That should be like the first or second ingredient would be 100% whole grain bread.
Okay.
Those are the best kinds to eat. That's going to get you, that's going to have whole grain, meaning it has the whole part of the grain. So that gives you like more fiber, more of the B vitamins, more, a little more protein. It's more filling, all those things, versus, your more white processed carbohydrates.
Okay. So it's just even kind of like with the sugar and the drinks, if you're drinking regular, then, start to cut it down. Same with the bread. It's just kind of being smart with all of it.
Yes, and trying to, and I think people, give yourself some grace. I mean, I feel like I've seen that a lot about everything that's going on here, because it's a stressful time. We're all like in a place we've never been in before. So give yourself a lot of grace and just, trying to make, a little bit healthier choices every day. You're not going to get it right. You're not going to get it perfect every time.
Yeah.
But trying to make a little bit healthier choices every day, choosing an apple over those chips in a day, or, maybe starting to phase in some of those healthier grains, like healthier breads, healthier, more whole grain pasta, phasing out some of those soft drinks or sweet tea, and phasing in water, and, just kind of doing those things to, to help yourself be a little healthier. But don't feel like you have to do it all at one time. Don't feel like, and if you don't get it right, or you have a day you don't do so great, that's all right,
Right.
Just that your general trend is healthier. I think that's kind of the goal here. And I think there's also, we all have plenty of things to worry about, but most people probably would prefer not to come out on the other side of this thing having gained 15 pounds.
Yes.
So just an awareness of that, not to add more anxiety, but just making sensible choices.
Yeah, just being conscious of it, because this is a very emotional time for a lot of people, and so many people use food as their coping mechanism. And hello, I can relate. So right now, so many people, that's kind of where some comfort and security is coming from, especially just being at home and your whole routine being changed up. And so I like what you say about, don't beat yourself up. Just start to be more conscious of the choices that you're making, and maybe one time a day, just choose something healthier over what the natural tendency to go to would be.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Those little things add up. Little things add up. For sure. So, another thing is, a lot of people, depending on, and I'm not an expert on any of these things, but I do use some of them. And, you have like things like essential oils, and you have things like herbs, and you have a lot of different things like that I think some feel like does improve immunity, that are natural ways to address mood and sleep and immunity and those kind of things. And again, I would say seek out somebody who is an expert on some of those things. And you definitely, particularly with like herbs and things, you really would not want to probably start new herbs unless you spoke to your doctor. You'd want to make them aware of what you're taking. But there are things, and even in terms of like supplements, one thing that has been discussed is, of course, you have your vitamin C that's good for immunity, but trying to get that in natural sources is a good idea too. A lot of your high vitamin C fruits, like your strawberries, are still in right now. Your citrus, bell peppers, like there's a ton of ways to really get a lot of vitamin C. Also in your natural form. And then another thing that's also been discussed is vitamin D, that vitamin D is a good immune booster also. So I don't know, and so I can't say everybody run out and take vitamin D, but that could be something potentially, if you're already taking it, that's a good thing, or potentially maybe to, again, discuss with your doctor. But those are definitely things. The vitamin D thing is a really hot thing right now with immunity.
Okay.
Looking at that, and there's not a ton of natural sources of vitamin D, because God intended for us to get it from the sun, I guess.
Yeah.
So the main way to get vitamin D is to be in the sun exposure. If you wear too much sunblock, it'll block your body's ability to make vitamin D. So you want to be out really without sunblock, but not for a long period of time. We don't want people to get damage here. We're talking 15 minutes, and you have like, shorts and a short sleeve shirt maybe.
So 15 minutes out in the sun, it's gonna activate some vitamin D, or you're gonna be able to get some vitamin D in 15 minutes.
Correct. I mean, if you could do that every day, that's great. Most people can't do that every day. But that's gonna get you at least some vitamin D, and it varies from person to person how much vitamin D your body produces. It's based on skin tone. It's based on genetics. It's kind of based on a lot of things. Okay. Like some people, even with good sun exposure, still may need a supplement, for example. And some people may not, some people may not. So, but either way, the sunlight is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And then like your fatty fish have some vitamin D. Dairy products have added vitamin D in them. That's another way to get it. Cod liver oil, which is like an old school thing. It has vitamin A, vitamin D. It has omega-3s. That's a really old school kind of remedy that is sort of coming back now because it has a lot of those nutrients in it. So all those things, could be things to do with your diet for immunity right now.
So speaking on the vitamin C, back to it for a second, people say drinking like some lemon water in the morning, adding a little bit of lemon to your water in the morning has several different healing properties for your body. Is that something good to kind of start your body out with in the morning?
I think it is. I can't say that there's been like extensive studies done on that in particular, but I know I've heard, like I follow a lot of different holistic and alternative medicine doctors, and they all talk about it.
Yeah.
That it helps. It sounds odd, but even though lemon is really acidic, it actually helps alkalinize the body. So it kind of makes the body slightly more alkaline.
Okay.
So that can actually help with detoxification. Lemon juice also is going to have some vitamin C in it. It's going to have some other natural vitamins and compounds in it. Excuse me. That could potentially, energize, give the body some nutrients. In addition, again, to maybe help them with detoxification. And that's an easy thing to do every day. To add that to your water in the morning. And some people say use warm water.
I was about to say, yeah.
Some people say warm water. Some people say it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot of variations, but in my opinion, the only thing that comes to mind right now that could be a problem for is if you had somebody that had a lot of acid reflux.
Yes.
And that seemed to irritate their stomach. You probably would have to use some caution with that because it is going to be very acidic. So if you've got some acid reflux, one thing that could alleviate that is if you do it, like a lot of people say, well, do it on an empty stomach first thing. Well, if you do it with food, that potentially could decrease the negative effect on your stomach. If you're having it with food, it may decrease the irritation.
Yes.
It could be caused from the acidity in the lemon, maybe.
Yes.
So,
I have acid reflux, and I have since I was in high school. I think I took too much Advil when I was in high school, to be honest. Yeah. And we used to work together, and so we would be in meetings. And do you remember that green veggie shake I used to bring in there sometimes? So when I would drink that first thing in the morning and would not eat any food, it would burn my stomach. Yes. And so is just eating a little bit of something with that kind of create a barrier and I don't know if it was a combination of just the lemon that was in the veggie shake or if it was a combination of all the veggies in the veggie shake, whatever it was.
That was a really outstanding veggie shake, by the way. So
I'm going to record it and put it in our group and stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to
that's an outstanding veggie shake. That's kind of my thoughts. I mean, but generally speaking, whether it's taking medications or it's consuming anything, coffee or tea, something that could potentially irritate your stomach. That's things like some of your major irritants are things we suggest people try to really limit with reflux, or like acidic foods, spicy foods, lying down too soon after you eat. Yeah. Caffeine a lot of times is also an irritant. Tobacco is also an irritant. Like those are all things that are just kind of general irritants. And then people kind of have individual things that are kind of more specific to them, maybe that irritate, that make the reflux worse. But I feel like in general, if you like take medication or you have a more acidic food with something in your stomach that generally, especially if it's like a starchier food, they can kind of absorb some of that acid. that definitely can help decrease some of the irritation.
Yeah.
From that acidic food or whatever it is.
Yeah. Because I tend to sometimes stay away from citrus just because it does, but I know it's really good for me. And so for a long time, I've tried to find that balance, and I haven't been great at it, to be honest. But I know, and I'm not consistent with my veggie shake, but that's something I bought all the stuff last time I went to the store to try to start back drinking, because I love to get my vegetables that way. For some reason, I like my vegetables raw and in a shake like that better than I do cooked and eating a plate full of vegetables. I don't know why it is, but that's what works for me.
It works though. As long as you get it in, that works.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't. I mean, from your standpoint, it doesn't really matter whether they're raw, whether they're cooked, or whatever. You're still gonna get the vitamins.
That there's a lot of controversy with that about raw versus cooked. I mean, there's some diets where you only eat raw.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yes.
You cook anything.
Yeah, the raw diet too.
There's also other diets that are more like for gut healing kind of problems that don't want you to eat raw. They want you to eat all your vegetables cooked because they're digested easier. So there's kind of a lot of different philosophies on that. I personally try to get kind of some of both. I try to get some raw and some cooked.
Yeah.
Most of the time, and that seems to work for me. But the main thing I would say is just try to get them in your diet. Because our American diet is so low in vegetables, and vegetables, particularly those non-starchy vegetables, are so vital to really getting all your nutrients. Like green leafy vegetables, your broccoli, your squash, those colorful vegetables that are low in calories, have a lot of fiber, have a lot of nutrients. That's really the keys to really getting, your disease fighters. That's another thing, is just really getting those fruits and vegetables in to get your disease fighters, your antioxidants, all those things. I mean, that's the place to get them, is in your fruits and vegetables. So you got to get those in. I would say whatever your body tolerates the best, and whatever's going to encourage you to get as much in as possible.
Yeah.
In every day is probably the most, to me, the most valuable, applicable thing, I would say.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That makes sense. And start where we are. It's like, if you're not getting a bunch of vegetables in, then don't try to just go and turn into eating all vegetables. I like what you say about, wherever we are, make it a gradual kind of process, start adding in little things here and there and trying different things. So, and one of the things that I'm doing is, my friend is a chef, and she has a catering company, and so there's no events going on. And so she knows that I'm not a good cook. And so yesterday we did a video of her on Zoom teaching me how to cook with different vegetables and different things that I have in my refrigerator. And so I'm looking forward to kind of putting that together. But, sometimes, especially right now, we just kind of get in, it's an opportunity for us to be creative with what we're eating. But sometimes it's like, but I can't think. It's like I just, go back to the things that we always have. And so hopefully we can maybe put some recipes and stuff out. And if you have some recipes or different things for people to try right now while, we have more time, I notice with myself, I'm realizing that eating out has been another habit. And I would tell myself it's faster. And with me being only one person, it's easier. And I'm finding now that I'm having to eat more at home, that it's just another one of those habits, and it's changing habits and what we're used to and all of that. And so I've been having fun trying out some different things right now.
Good. That's good. That's really good. Well, and it's nice to change it up, and it's nice to support those businesses.
Yes, absolutely.
That's so there's a balance there.
Yeah, don't let me pretend that I'm cooking every meal, because I really
right. No, and that's what I mean. Because I think probably most of your meals, it would be good to eat at home so you can kind of control the ingredients and those kind of things. But then, if you have you want something different or you want to splurge or whatever, going and picking up something is also a good thing to support those businesses and those kind of things, and give yourself a break and, maybe a little treat, those kind of things. But so there's a balance with all of it. I feel like we have to give ourselves a lot of grace and be very patient, I think, with ourselves and where we are and figuring out how to manage it all. And
weird times right now, and so we're just all trying to navigate it the best way, and sometimes that's good choices and sometimes that's choices that aren't the best for our bodies, and we're all just doing the best that we can right now.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so one more thing I want to speak to, because I've been hearing a lot about this and I wanted to get your take on it, is zinc. What are your thoughts on zinc and what's happening right now?
There's a lot of different things being looked at, and zinc is one of those things.
Okay.
Zinc is a big part of immunity. It is definitely part of our immune system. It's an important mineral, but it's a delicate thing because zinc, it's easy to get too much of zinc, and getting too much is not having enough is a problem. Okay. Getting too much can also be a problem.
Okay.
Some of the things I'm reading are saying, encourage people to get plenty of zinc in their diet. And then others are saying, maybe a low dose zinc supplement, but you wouldn't want like a really high dose of any of it.
Okay.
One thing is, if you don't eat a lot of animal products, that's the best zinc sources are actually animal products.
Oh, okay. So like me, who I'm not eating meat. I mean, I am eating some dairy, but so that's when a supplement would probably be helpful.
Possibly. But you can get like almonds have quite a bit. Okay. Pumpkin seeds have zinc. Almonds have zinc. I'm trying to think. So you got a lot, like some of your nuts that have zinc. Oysters, of course, have zinc. That's like the greatest source, which that's so random. But but a lot of your animal products are where you get a lot of your zinc from.
Okay.
Yeah. And depending on what dairy products you're using, you have some that will add zinc in. Like, for example, for people maybe that drink like almond milk or soy milk, sometimes they will add in some zinc to that. You'll have to look on the label of whatever it is that you're using. And if you take, like a multivitamin, multimineral, that a lot of times will have, some zinc in it. But I think right now you would want to guard against taking like huge doses of zinc. Okay.
Because when you get too much, then it's going to send you in the opposite direction of where you want to go.
For some people, the too much could have some really negative effects.
Okay.
So you got to be cautious about that.
Okay.
You got to be cautious about that, but it can definitely be an immune enhancer.
Okay.
One thing I didn't mention, this kind of goes along with the processed foods discussion, is a lot of your dyes and things in foods. Those are also really not good for our bodies. So really trying to limit that. And it's definitely been linked to things, definitely with children, but also for just people in general being sensitive to them.
Like the red dyes and different things like that, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like cutting back on sugar can help us build our immunity, which, that's always a challenge for me. That, making sure we're getting our vitamin C, getting some veggies and some fruit, making sure you're getting your water. What am I missing? What are the...
Vitamin D. Make sure you're sunshine. You can speak with your doctor about a supplement, perhaps, if you're not already taking one.
And exercise.
And I think you don't have to think too big on it. Like, it doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be, doing a spin class. It doesn't have to be anything like that. Yeah. Just going for a walk every day, good yoga class that's really just gentle and stretching and can be really relaxing and, some of those things.
So it's basically a lot of the same stuff that we should be doing every day, or that's best for our bodies every day. It's just like now's an opportunity to start to be more conscious of what we're actually feeding our bodies. Our bodies are pretty amazing things, and they take a lot of beatings that we give them, and even just taking the little baby steps. And that's kind of what I'm about. Sounds like exactly what you're about. It's about little steps.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, good information. And if anybody has any questions, for Christy specific around this, or just diet and nutrition in general, please let us know. And you can post in the comments, and we'll have Christy back on, or we'll get the questions answered. Probably a combination of both.
Yes. I'll be happy to help. I mean, I am a registered dietitian, so I have some knowledge about a lot of different things related to nutrition. But, I'm definitely not an expert on every single topic, but I certainly will share what I know. And I'll also be happy to tell you what I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely all about, helping people feel empowered and know that there are things they can do to help their body be as healthy as possible, in addition to all the other good habits we need to be practicing, like hand washing and cleaning and all those things. There are things that we can do and we can control, and so or anything not even related to that. If you have this issue, or somebody with an issue and you need help, I'll be happy. If it's nutrition, I love talking about it, so I'll be happy to help however I can and answer questions however I can. Just praying we all stay healthy and strong, and that we will get through it, and we'll probably have a lot of lessons learned.
That's right.
By the end of this thing, for sure.
And I love how you speak to, there is so much out of our control right now, and so our focus needs to be on what we can control. That makes our life and our mental state and everything so much healthier when we focus on what we can control. And this is an aspect that we definitely can control. It's not, sometimes it feels like we can't control it, but this is an area where we have an opportunity to step up and start, even if it's a place where we have been out of control, to step up and start taking little steps towards that.
It's never too late to start. Yes.
Right. Absolutely.